How's it going, everyone? My name is GammaFox and welcome to the Beginner's Guide. Now, I know absolutely nothing about this game except for the one fact that it was made by the same people as the Stanley Parable, which I just played, well, I finished doing a playthrough of. So, that's a really good incentive for me to play it too. So, without further ado, we will get straight into it. And there's going to be chapters too, so it may be a bit longer. It might turn into a kind of a series. Please make sure audio is on. Of course, I always have my audio on. Who doesn't? It's silly, especially playing a game. Controls, WASD and left click. Okay, pretty basic. So is it going to be like a narrator?
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
Okay.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Okay.
It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Oh, I can move.
You can walk around here, by the way.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
Okay.
But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
Yeah.
And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
That's interesting.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since.
Okay.
And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay, that's about it for introduction.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay, so this is interesting. So we get to go through each game that he made? Oh, what is this? Warning. Oh, okay. Whisper machine. I can shoot. Okay,
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Oh, well, okay, that's buggy. Where do I go then? This is actually really interesting. I can go around here. So, this guy talking is the creator of the Stanley Parable, like he said. So, and he's taking us a tour through his friend's games that he made.
Security code breach.
It's really cool, actually.
Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Hostile alien life forms. Okay.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
A little bit,
For
yeah.
instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere.
Isn't
but then
there?
clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Yeah, because I can't shoot.
You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shield evacuation.
Okay, where do I go? I'm kind of stuck in this room. I can go up here. Okay, I didn't know that. Cool. Okay. Oh, we're in space.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
The bottom of the universe. That's quite funny. Okay. The bottom of the universe. It's so silly. Wait, what the hell? What's this? This reminds me of...
Apparently,
A
the
room with
space station
Zelda.
has a labyrinth on it.
Yeah, what the
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, cool, thank you. I appreciate it, actually, because that looks very troublesome.
This
Cool.
is the part that's interesting.
Oh.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Oh, okay. I was listening to him, sorry. Oh.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it?
Would it
Would
kill
you
me?
give yourself?
Well, I can't really do anything else. Huh? Bleh, I'm dead. Bleh.
Let me pause here for a second.
Oh, okay.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. What the heck? Can I see the bottom of the universe? Yeah. That's quite funny. What
The beam
hell?
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse.
Yeah, true.
I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. This is actually really interesting. So November 2008. Okay. Oh, this music's nice. I can't move though. Yeah, I can't move forward. Is he gonna start talking? Oh.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh. Okay. That's interesting, actually. Oh, okay. That's actually really cool. I can only walk backwards. Oh, but the future.
So
could
it's a
not be
short
seen.
and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
I actually
Coda's
like
trying to
it.
give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Yeah. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Because I can only walk backwards. But if the future is always behind her. Because his text appears. How will she find the strength? Oh, to confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says
Oh,
what it wants to say,
it's done.
and then it ends.
I
Didn't need
likes
anything
that.
more than that.
I like
Which to
that.
me is why it works.
Yeah.
Because it gets out quick.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
I agree, I liked that. I thought it was really creative. Oh, is this a horror game? This is a horror game. Jump scares? You are now entering... Oh. Just gonna be... Oh.
And that's it.
Oh.
Okay, the meaning
What?
of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. No, I'm intrigued. You got me intrigued, Stanley Parable developer.
Oftentimes,
Nonsense
Coda
in
would
every
put
dimension.
bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Oh. Okay.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Okay, It's a really long staircase for some reason. Oh, I
Once
can't
you've
move.
been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay, so I press enter. Oh, okay. So is it supposed to create a sense of like, I need to get there, I want to get there, you know? A sensation. What the heck? Stand on X steering B for 3 hours. Wait, what the heck? You walk around talking to people down to pursuing their hopes and dreams. Play as a pair of floating
A room
eyes.
that's warm
emitting.
and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
You must address a rally group of eager press reporters. This is so cool.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
A key in one game unlocks a door to complete a separate game. That's cool. The game is nothing but a giant block of text. That's so cool. That's so cool. And I completely understand that too. You know, people will view you as like a cold person when really in reality you're really passionate. It's just hard for them to understand that, or that side of your personality. It's like a kind of a tsundere personality. You know, it's like cold and harsh on the outside, but secretly is really caring. Huh. Okay, what's this? This reminds me
Well,
of
this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay. This reminds me of this layout reminds me of what's it called? Halo, that's right. Like not the doors and stuff, like the color and the color scheming and it reminds me of the first level of Halo Combat Evolved. Okay, oh what the heck is dark? The door here. So there's a puzzle, so I gotta solve it on my own, he says. Okay. Can I move the lever again? I can. Okay. I can't go back up here. So obviously I'm supposed to stay here and figure out the puzzle, which is cool. But I wish I could see. I really wish I could see. You want me to figure out the puzzle, but I can't see shit in this room. Oh, can I flip the switch on the side of the door? Yeah? Aha! I gotcha.
Don't
I
forget
gotcha
that
puzzle.
solution, because we're
gotcha.
going to see this puzzle again soon.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna see it a lot.
Does he like that puzzle? Does your friend like this puzzle a lot? Or that kind of puzzle, I'm guessing. Okay. I like the music. It's warm. It's soothing. I had no idea this game was gonna be like this, by the way, guys. I had no idea. I'm actually quite...
So that seems to be
I like
it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
Okay.
Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. Oh. Whoa. 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 Okay. What the hell?
How about that?
What is all this?
There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the
What's the
Stairs
point?
game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Okay.
Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything.
That's true.
Not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
That's true. That's a good point, actually. Oh, we're back here again. Okay, before I continue, I just want to increase the volume of his voice. Speaker configuration, master volume. Can I not make the dude's voice louder? Okay, I guess I can't, so I apologize if it was that hard to hear over that volume before, guys, because I was struggling to hear him the best as well. So you are now exiting.
Aha! So this, combined with the entering game from earlier,
Can I go back?
tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow.
I can't.
It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game.
Okay.
There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back, and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
That's really cool, actually. Like, the fact that he combines his games together, he makes lots of small games and combines them so that the player can get a different meaning from each one. Well, not from each one, from them combined, I guess. So, oh, okay.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Okay.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Fair enough. You can't really fall off.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, a lot of his games we've seen so far is pretty much just boxy, linear stuff, but I just fell down to the bottom of this room. It just keeps going, what the hell? What's that? I can't go in there, as you can see that wall right there, guys, like glass. What is this? This looks really cool. What the heck? That's really trippy, like the way we've just gone from like a house to... Is that where we were before? The white? What's this? This looks like a freaking horse pen, and they just closed that on me. Oh. So I heard static. Oh. Okay, thank you, I guess. Oh, okay. Yeah, this guy makes games that are based more on storytelling. They take you on a journey, and you experience that journey. It's not really I have to go this way, okay. Wait, where do I... Oh, this way, okay. Invisible walls, that's cool.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Oh.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, like, why... That's interesting, because not many people...
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it.
Yeah.
And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible?
Yeah.
And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else.
Okay.
Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
Don't blame you. I'd be curious too, but I can understand that, because me myself, I played a lot of games, you know, and I take each one as a different experience. And some games, some are more gameplay orientated, some are more story orientated, some a bit of both, really. Like, you have to do specific things, like puzzle games, you know, like puzzle games, you have to be able to solve puzzles to get further into the story, like Fire Emblem, for example, a game I've been playing a lot recently. And I can understand where this guy's coming from. The way he makes games is he wants them to be experience orientated, like you do what the game tells you to do, or you get limited by what the game limits you to do.
It's the puzzle again.
And yeah.
With the exact same solution as the last time.
Okay, so why is this? Is it supposed to be the same solution?
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Okay. This just keeps going on and on. It's the kind of game that really sparks your curiosity, like, what's the point of this? What am I doing here, you know? And I actually really like that, I admire that. Oh, what the hell? Listen, speak, listen.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities.
Okay.
Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
You there, did you come up from above? what was up there. Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there was floating coloured blocks. Okay. I don't really spend it. I'm gonna go 1. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Again, perfect. Now please, tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. So I can't tell them how to solve it? Why is that? I did solve it myself, and it's a pretty easy puzzle. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Well, if they are curious, I actually don't know what answer to pick. I'm gonna go 3. Oh no, but we need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. Okay. So, now has he turned to listen? Oh, this opened. Okay. So this is a prison. There's another one? Listen, listen, listen. Speak. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Is this the same? No, this is different. Yes, do you want to know how I solve it? How to solve it? No, I've been here this entire time. I'm gonna tell the truth. No, we actually find a black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it? Wait, what? Why would I care about the space between the doors? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling something strange as I passed through it. I don't really recall the space between the doors. I don't remember that. Don't worry, I'm sure you will visit it again soon. Be sure to pay close attention. Be sure to pay close attention. Blah, I cannot speak. Okay, between what door? This? Oh, that's a fire. That's a furnace of some sort. Okay. This just keeps going on and on. It's interesting, man.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Okay. This is really interesting. I really like this. Like, just what the guy talks about and what's the point of these games. It's like an apartment complex here.
It's a lamppost.
Oh, well, I was looking around here,
I can't
but not
tell you quite why.
the
but
lamppost.
For some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost.
Okay.
It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long.
But that's the point.
Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something.
Okay.
He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay. This is really interesting. I really like this. Like I said that before, I know the exact same thing, but it's just, I've been such a big gamer for such a long time, and I understand completely what this guy means. It's really, this game's connected to the internet. Okay, as you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay. What does this say? Do I click it? Nice room, not. Okay.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up.
Can you hear me?
I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I'm
Either way,
curious.
To me, they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Okay. I can't describe.
But it's
what
ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
That's interesting. Like, well, burst. No, okay, I don't know what that says. That's interesting. Like the idea of this conveying loneliness, like him making all these messages himself in this game. Boring. I can assume you guarantee there is no acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. Okay. Why sailors? There's so many different notes. I want to read all of them. Hey guys, just looking for someone to talk with. Okay. I refuse to believe. But okay. I never played a game like this before, guys. This is really... And I understand where the developer is coming from, too. He wants to make a game that's more based on... Don't listen to that guy. Wait, what? There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. It's more based on the experience the creator wants you to have. It's a game that not normal people can play. It's a game that demands attention. It's a game that you can't... Because, see, the thing about video games, right? Video games are made for entertainment, right? You play them for fun, right? These games, this is more like art. This is a game that expresses an artistic desire to create, in my opinion. And he's creating something that's... It's really unique in the way that it makes you experience the game that he's making. I know it's really hard to understand, but I can't put it in different words, guys. It's the best way I can describe it. It's just really freaking interesting. It's really, really interesting. All the things he's saying. And don't bother. You can go on here, I think. All these games he's made, they're so short, they're so linear. But it's the small things like this that make them so... Stop, turn back, proceeding any further will only result in misery. It's the fact that these little things, the meaning each game he makes, the purpose of each game he makes is... It's something about him as a person, really. It expresses him as a person. Like these notes he's making, they reference to his loneliness, just like that, you know. So I need someone to talk to, like what Stanley Parable creator just said. This is a note. Like, this is supposed to be connected online, and each person's supposed to leave a message, but he left all of these. He left all of these for you to read out of your curiosity, which I'm doing right now. And these are all by him. So that alone you cannot fall off. Yeah. Ethical. It's really interesting. And what is this? Why is there a big canvas? Or a painting of all these little... It's so... What's that say? It's so... We will all die someday. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Stop pretending you are other people. This is so strange. This is so strange. Maybe I'll feel real someday. You know, you could be watching this right now. You probably would have left the video long ago, not seeing this part of the video that I'm playing right now, of Beginner's Guide, but if you are watching this, you definitely should know what I mean. I beat the game. Damn it, I lost the game. More room.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
Okay, I want to read
Each
all
of these
this.
games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Okay. I like the idea how each game he makes is like kind of a bridge to another game.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Okay. These games really do describe him as a person, though. That's the thing. That's why I picked up from all this. And help. This doesn't make sense. The second door won't open. Skit, how do you solve it? Developer, answers please. It's pretty
And
easy.
because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Yeah. Oh, this is so, it's different. I like it. What's this? What the hell? How do you leave notes? What is this? Oh, is it typing? Oh, it's typewriters. And it's a lamp. Okay. What the heck? Are you here? Please say something. I can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. What the hell? Okay. May, June 2009. This goes till 2011, doesn't it? I actually have to end this here, guys. Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kinda just spin its own wheels for a few minutes.
Okay.
Hang with it.
Okay. I'm sorry guys, I'm just gonna end this here. It's been half an hour. This is really long. I can go back to this because I can choose what chapter to start on, which is cool. So I just want to share my thoughts on this for a second. This has been really interesting so far. I've never played a game like this before. I've played a lot of games, guys. I've played a shit ton of games, and each one is a different experience, and each one kind of does something different for you, the player. And I've never played a game where it kind of expresses the thoughts and the personality of the creator before. Not normal people can play this game. If you're still watching this, kudos to you, because I'm assuming most people would get bored of this, but if you're still watching this and you're listening to my thoughts right now, you know what I mean. You understand my perspective on this game just by watching to this point of the game, unless you're... I assume so. I respect you enough to know, but this is really different, and I really like it. I really like the idea how this expresses the creator's thoughts, his thought process of making games in general, his contradictions of what games are supposed to do for the player. Beforehand, they talked about how they had an argument of a game being playable, and he gave the other guy games where he chucked them into a room, just an empty room. You play that. Where in this, it's more of, you don't really play it, you experience it. That's the key difference here. This is a game that not anyone can play. This is a game that... These are games. The Beginner's Guide is what I was referring to. These are games that not anyone can play. These are games that people who understand game development, this is for people who understand games in general, people who view games as art, such as myself, this is the game that I believe people will get the most out of. Anyways, I'm going to stop right there. I've talked too much. I'm going to play this again in the future. I'm going to continue on from this point. I feel like it's going to start, because you see it went from 2008 to 2011, and we're only on May 2009 right now, so there might be a few more episodes of this. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as usual, I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.